भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते दत्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंच कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रघुनाथ स्वामी नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य वाचालम पंगुम लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुनीतारणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। हरि ओम तत्सत। Hare Krishna. So hope you all had a wonderful Damodar month. So the Purnimanta Damodar, Purnima to Purnima is over with Kartik Purnima. Sometimes Kartik is also amongst the Smartas tracked from Amavasya to Amavasya. So that will go on for another week or so. I think until 14th or 15th, if I'm not wrong. So thank you all for those who have been offering lamps. I have put in a link to share your scores. Some of you have already done so. Those who have done, thank you so much. I can see from here, Amita Mataji has done, Saralakshmi Mataji has done, and a few others have also done. So thank you so much. For others, those who have not shared, please try to share by tomorrow. So today we are discussing chapter 19 of the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are discussing the beautiful pastimes of Lord Vamana Dev, the Manvantara avatar. We discussed about how the Supreme Lord, pleased by the Payovrata of Mother Aditi and the great devotion of Kashyap Muni, agreed to be born as the son of Aditi. Lord Vishnu gave her a blessing that I will fulfill your desire, but it's not going to be about fighting with Bali Maharaj. I will have my own way to deal with it. But I want to appear as your son. So she was so happy. And in the last class, we discussed how the Lord appeared. And he didn't become a dwarf. He isn't born as a dwarf. He was born as the four-armed Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Kirita Kundala, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then finally he transforms into a dwarf, much to the joy of everyone. We also discussed how the wonderful Upanayan ceremony happened. First the birth ceremony happened, then the Upanayan ceremony happened for Lord Vamana, and there was this beautiful presence of all the great who's who of the universe. And different great personalities gave different gifts. Suryadev personally whispered the Gayatri mantra, and very special personalities gave him thread, gave him his begging bowl, Kuvera gave him his begging bowl. And the sacred thread, I think it was Brihaspati, if I'm not wrong. and so on and so forth, deer skin and this and that, so many wonderful gifts. Soon after that, Lord Vamana, the dwarf, he went to the sacrificial arena where Bali Maharaj was performing his 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. If you remember, Bhrigu Muni's descendants had instructed Indra, you want to remain Indra? Sorry, Bali Maharaj, if you want to remain on the seat of Indra, you must become qualified. So, perform the yajna. So, Vaman Dev in his heart thinking that I have to fulfill Aditi's desire by giving the kingdom back to Indra. At the same time, I want to show my special favor to Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj in his heart was a very great devotee. He is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. He was very, very dear to the Lord. So we discussed in the last class how the dwarf Vamana goes to the assembly where the yajna is being performed and how Lord Vamandev's extraordinary effulgence, his aura, even as he is approaching the assembly, gets everyone's notice. Just like when the sun rises, all other bulbs and insects, their light becomes insignificant. Similarly, when the Lord appeared, everybody else, even though they were very qualified Brahmana sages, their aura seemed very insignificant in front of the glaring effulgence of the Lord. Everyone got up. Who's this? Who's this? We also discussed in the last class how there was this beautiful interaction. Bali Maharaj was very respectful to all the Brahmanas, took special effort to receive Vamanadev with great care and attention. He offered him his respects, he glorified him, because he could see that he is not just another brahmachari, but an extraordinary personality, shining with the splendor of Brahma Tejas. So, worshipping him properly, giving him a seat, washing the lotus feet of Vamana, sprinkling that water on his head, doing all the necessary rituals for receiving a Brahmana guest. Bali Maharaj very humbly mentions to Lord Vamana that if you have come here, that means you probably want something in charity. Otherwise, there is no reason for a Brahmana to come here at this juncture of the yajna too. But you are so welcome. I'm so happy. This place is purified by your lotus feet. My entire family is purified by your presence. Whatever you want, I am willing to give. Of course, as this conversation was happening, everybody was listening, especially Shukracharya, the spiritual master of Bali Maharaj. When he heard this statement, while Vamanadev was extremely pleased because he could see that Bali Maharaj is strictly following the religious principles in terms of properly honoring and respecting the Brahmanas. In fact, Bali Maharaj himself had become so powerful because he was worshipping and serving the Brahmanas even better than the Devatas. And that was the reason Vamandev had told Aditi and the other Devatas that, in this current circumstances, uh, I cannot directly, not that I cannot in the sense that the Lord is not incapable, but he doesn't want to violate the principles of religion that he has set up himself for the functioning of this universe. Let's do it another way. So Bali Maharaj, with his super excellent behavior, pleased Vaman Dev like anything. In fact, the Bhagavatam in this particular chapter says Bali Maharaj, when he spoke like this, Vamandev became so pleased with him, with that attitude, that the Lord started to praise him. Sometimes in life, as sadhaka devotees, even though we are so weak, we are so incapable, we have so many limitations of resources, even if sometimes we even sincerely desire to do something to please the Lord, so many times the Lord is pleased simply by our sincere desire to render a particular service. I've mentioned this many times. It was a very beautiful story that I mean, a beautiful experience that I had. That once His Holiness Radhanand Maharaj told me to do something which was very difficult in those circumstances. And I said yes. And then after some time, of course, he was very pleased at that. After some time, I met him again and he asked me, what is the situation? And I said that the situation has now changed like this. And Radhanand Maharaj said that actually, because you said yes, simply because you accepted to do this, Krishna was so pleased with you that he changed your situation. He didn't even make you do it. Very interesting insight. Very interesting insight. So, Vamandev here, he starts glorifying Bali Maharaj when he sees this super excellent attitude of Bali Maharaj, which is perfectly aligned with the religious principle. And he glorifies Bali Maharaj. He says, you are so exalted, O Bali Maharaj. And you are exalted not just basis your own character, but because you are guided by Brahmanas who are descendants of Bhrigu. Not only that, you are glorious because you are descendant of a very illustrious line coming from Prahlad Maharaj. Actually, whatever you said a few minutes ago is actually perfect. Whatever you said and whatever behavior you're displaying is actually perfect dharmic behavior. They are in line with your reputation and they are in line with the great lineage that you come from. And very interesting at this point, Vamandev, he starts glorifying not just Prahlad, he starts glorifying the line of Bali Maharaj. He starts by glorifying Hiranyaksha, he starts by glorifying Hiranyakashipu, he glorifies, of course, Prahlad, then he glorifies Virochan, he glorifies all of them. And with many verses. Of course, he doesn't say that they were great saints, but he says that they were. He says there was never any king in your line, oh Bali Maharaj, who was miserly. There was never a king who would have given his word to the Brahmins and would have taken it back. Two mistakes are very big blots on the character of a Kshatriya. One is to refuse a Brahmana the charity that he has asked. One, because charity is one of the main dharmas of a Kshatriya, especially to a Brahmana. And second, to run away from battle. Or in other words, if anybody comes and challenges you to fight, you must accept. That is the duty of a Kshatriya. So never in your line, these two faults, nobody has displayed these two faults. And he glorifies by giving examples of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha was fighting with Varaha. But he was fighting with full enthusiasm. Even though he was Lord Vishnu. Vamandev is glorifying him. Hiranyaksha was so powerful. He went in all directions and conquered everyone in all directions. Of course, finally he was killed by Lord Vishnu in the form of Varahadev. But the fight was very good. The fight was such that it is said even Lord Varaha liked it. Lord Varaha was admiring, oh, what an opponent. So your forefathers are so great, they gave pleasure to Lord Vishnu in fighting. And for a moment, Lord Vishnu also enjoyed. So, what kind of, huh? For Lord Vishnu to feel at the end of a battle that, oh, I have won, I have won. That means, the adversary must have been super competent in terms of fighting. So, in that way, he was glorified. Even though he got killed, he gave pleasure to Lord Vishnu. And your other great grandfather Hiranyakashipu, when he heard about Hiranyaksha's death, he was so angry. He vowed he's going to kill Vishnu and he went in search of Vishnu everywhere. Seeing that with a trident in hand, Hiranyakashipu is chasing Lord Vishnu. Apparently, he was chasing Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu started thinking as follows: this guy is not going to leave me. He's going to chase me, chase me, chase me. But my Leela is supposed to be something different. I am not supposed to be dealing with him now. So let me go to a place where he will never find me. What is that place? Let me go and hide in the heart of Hiranyakashipu because then he will never find me. Because Hiranyakashipu's drishti is always outward drishti. Huh? He's always looking outward. So he will not see in his own heart and find it. So Lord Vishnu took a subtle form, it is said. From his nostril, he entered and went into his heart. That's how the Bhagavatam describes. And he hid in his heart. And he went around. He went even to the place where Lord Vishnu resides and he couldn't find him there. He went all over. And then he came back to his court and said, I searched for this Vishnu all over. He's nowhere to be found. I have searched him on the earth, in the heavens, and this killer of my brother is nowhere to be found. So that's why I think he must have died because there's no place not that I have not searched. Most likely this Vishnu has died. That's how Hiranyakashipu started. So Hiranyakashipu had that kind of anger towards the Lord because the Lord had killed his brother as per his understanding. So because of that false ego, he always maintained that sense of anger. Then Vamandev starts glorifying Virochan. Your father, he says, your father Virochan, who's the son of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj himself, of course, is super excellent. Even his son Virochan, so super excellent. He also was so affectionately and charitably disposed towards the Brahmanas, even though at one time the Devatas were afraid of Virochan also. And there is one pastime, the detail is not mentioned, but Lord Vamandev is hinting towards the pastime. Devatas, knowing this charitable disposition of Virochan towards Brahmanas, they took the form of Brahmanas and came to Virochan and asked for charity. And Virochan knew that they are actually Devatas in the guise of Brahmans, but because they came in the guise of Brahmans, he said, I will give you whatever. And you know what those Brahmans or Devatas in the guise of Brahmans asked? They said, whatever is the remainder of your life, give it to us in charity. And Virochan did not hesitate to give them the remaining duration of his life. So that, I mean, who can be more charitable than that? Basically, which means that he gave up his life. Because that was the charity that the Devatas in the form of Brahmanas had. So all your ancestors, Virochan, Prahlad, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, so extraordinary. So you are coming from such a noble family, so I am also expecting that, you have made this vow, definitely you will keep your word. Huh? Lord Vamandev is telling all this, and he's also saying that, because you have such illustrious line, you just now promised, no, whatever I will ask, you will give. So I'm confident because of all this, your character and the character of your ancestors, I'm pretty sure you will keep your word. And I'm sure you will give me whatever I want. But I don't want anything fancy. I don't want anything fancy. All I want is 3 steps of land and that too measured by my steps. O king, you are the lord of the three worlds currently. I know you are able to give me much more than that, but I don't want anything from you that is unnecessary. I just want what I need. If Brahmanas start becoming greedy and start accumulating and asking for more than necessary, then it just spoils the spiritual life of the Brahmanas and he will simply become entangled in sinful activities. I don't want that. I know you can give. Bali Maharaj is very astonished by the way, because his experience with other Brahmanas, uh, especially the ones on his side, especially headed by Shukracharya, uh, especially in terms of donation, Dakshina, has been very different. So he's surprised, right? This Brahmana is not interested in, I want to give him more, but he's asking for only 3 steps. And Bali Maharaj tells him that, oh, Patu, oh, Vamana, oh, Brahmachari, I can give you an entire Dvipa. The 7 Dvipas are ruled by me, of the Bhumandal. I can give you an entire Dvipa. You have come to a person like me to ask. When you come to a person like me, that should actually be the last time you ever ask in your life. Because I can give you so much that you will never have to ask again in your life. So while you are speaking wise things, I understand, nice things you are speaking, but you are too young to speak all these wise words. You are just a boy. So don't get carried away. My suggestion is, don't, you seem to be unintelligent, don't be like this. Ask something so that you never have to ask again. At least ask for that much land that you will never have to ask again. And Lord Vaman says, oh my dear king, I know what you are saying, but let me tell you the real truth of the nature of the mentality of a conditioned soul. If a conditioned soul whose senses are not in his control, the nature of such a conditioned soul is no matter how much you give him above his needs, he will still never ever be satisfied. Never. It doesn't matter if you give him 10 steps, 100 steps, one village, one kingdom, one planet, one entire Dvipa. Even if you give him all the 7 Dvipas, they will not be happy. So I know I need 3 steps only. I'm asking for 3. And I know that if also I develop that kind of a tendency, let me ask for more. I know for sure that I will not be satisfied even if you given me the 7 Dvipas. And even if I get one Dvipa, I will always be thinking, oh, why didn't I get that Dvipa also? Hey, what about the other Dvipa? That Dvipa is also so nice. That is the nature of material greed. It never gets satiated. No matter how much one gets, it just burns and burns and burns. I've heard in histories, Vaman Dev says, from the stories of great emperors like Maharaj Prithu and Maharaj Gaya, that they achieved sovereignty over all the 7 Dvipas. But still, as a Kshatriya ruler, their desire to increase their dominion did not go away. So I think, I'm a Brahmana, I think whatever comes by virtue of one's own past karma as per his destiny, should just be happy with that and not unnecessarily over endeavor. If one remains discontented with whatever comes his way without extraneous endeavor, one will remain discontented no matter how much he gets. And this kind of mentality is the cause of the perpetuation of the cycle of birth and death. One who's satisfied by his destiny, performs his duties, and whatever comes out of his own natural accord, he accepts it happily as his due. This is my karma, this is my Lord, accepts it and just carry on. And the remaining time, rather than being frustrated, greedy, complaining, why this didn't happen, why didn't you give me that, why like this, why like that, instead he just focuses his time on self-realization and remains satisfied by whatever comes to their lot easily without too much endeavor. Such a person is a qualified person for liberation. On the other hand, a Brahmana whose heart is burning with greed, more, 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 his spiritual potency decreases. Just as fire, which is sprinkled with water, reduces in its potency, similarly, a Brahmana whose heart is greedy for material acquirement loses his spiritual power. So, please listen to me. Whatever I told you earlier, I have thought through it properly. I'm not, you are thinking I'm immature, but I'm not immature. I know exactly the principles of religion. I know the nature of reality, and I know the dharma of a Brahmana is to remain satisfied. So that's what I want. Three steps of land, my steps, three steps. If you give me that much, I will be very happy. And if I, as a Brahmana, is happy, surely the Supreme Lord will be happy with. So when Lord Vamandev spoke like this to Bali Maharaj, and Bali was also very happy to see also the detached nature of Vamanadev. So, okay, whatever you want, let it be so, no problem. And just to give his commitment to Vamandev, he was just about to take water from his water pot into a sankalpa. A sankalpa means like a promise to say, whatever I am promising that I will give to this Brahmana, three of his steps donation. And pour that water, a sankalpa. He's just about to do that. He's reaching out to his water pot. Shukracharya is listening to this entire conversation. Bali Maharaj is happy, but Shukracharya is getting very uncomfortable. He is becoming very jittery. And Shukracharya being very elevated in and learned in the Vedas, he could understand what Vamandev was up to. He could understand what is about to happen. He knew that this Brahmana is not an ordinary Brahmana, he is the Supreme Lord himself. So he rushed to Bali Maharaj and told him, Bali, what are you doing? Stop, stop. What are you about to do? He said, oh son of Virochan, oh Bali, this dwarf who's in front of you, whom you are about to take a vow to give three steps, do you know he is Vishnu? That Vishnu, who's the enemy of the line of demons, he has taken birth in the womb of Aditi. He has accepted Kashyap and Aditi as father and mother. And why did he take this incarnation? Just to take care of the interest of the Devatas, your enemies. So he has come here to fix you. Don't you understand? Why you are being so foolish? You have no idea what kind of dangerous position you have got yourself into by accepting to give him what he wants. Don't do this. Don't promise anything. This will not be good for you. What to speak of good for you? This will be bad for all the demons, all the asuras. He is actually, Vishnu is pretending to be a brahmachari. And as a brahmachari, he has come here to take all your land, your wealth, your beauty, your power, your fame, your education, everything he'll take away from you and give it to Indra. That's his plan. I'm telling you, I know. He has come here to cheat you. Do you know what is about to happen? I will tell you. I can understand by my spiritual power what is about to happen. What is about to happen is you will promise him three steps. Then, because he is Vishnu, in two steps, he will cover the entire universe. And you will be forced to give it because you are taking a vow. Not only will he take everything away from you in two steps, he will make you to be a liar and a not fulfiller of your vow because you will have nothing left to give him for his third step. I am telling you, I know. If you lose everything like this foolishly because of this promise, oh Bali, because of this mistake, you will practically be a pauper in no time. If you give everything to Vishnu, what will be your means of livelihood? How will you live? Actually, the acharyas say it was not that Shukracharya was so much worried about Bali Maharaj. He was more worried that if Bali Maharaj loses everything, how will he and his family continue to get the patronage of Bali Maharaj as the king? So he was more concerned about his own dakshina. But he made it appear to Bali Maharaj that I am extremely concerned about. So you will not be able to actually fulfill your vow of the third step, and because of that you will turn out to be a liar and you will be pushed to hell. So everything is going to be very, very messy for you if you stand by the word that you have just mentioned. Don't take that vow. Don't you know? Learned scholars say that one should not give that kind of charity which will endanger one's own livelihood. Because only if one has livelihood, wealth, then only dharma, artha, kama can be done. If you give away everything of yours, how are you going to execute religious principles? A person, according to Shastra, must divide all the wealth he has into 5 parts. Part number 1, he should use for dharma. Part 2, he should use for his reputation. Part 3, for his opulence. Part 4, to enjoy the material world. And for maintenance of his family members. In that way, one will be happy in this world and the next. Now, if you give everything, you'll have nothing. You'll neither be able to do dharma, nor will you be able to take care of your family members. Huh? And Bali Maharaj, if you are worried, you have already promised, now what? I have already said, don't worry, I'll tell you, I'll quote scripture for you. There is this Bahu Vricha Smriti in which it is written that only if you precede a promise with the word Om, only then it is valid promise. Otherwise, it is not valid promise. So this is also very interesting. This is what materialistic people do. They will use scripture only when it suits them to find a way out from doing what is right. Correct? Sometimes we find this kind of a mentality even within the society of devotees. Sometimes some devotees will use Shastra and quote Shastra to do the wrong things. Quote Shastra to offend the devotees, quote Shastra to break or do immoral behavior, and then try to justify it by quoting some scripture or taking some obscure meaning of certain texts or verses. He argues. Shukracharya is like giving a lecture in with full enthusiasm, making Bali Maharaj understand that you should not do this, don't do this promise. Don't you know the body is so important? Without this material body, one cannot achieve any goal of life. Even though the material body is temporary, the body is extremely important because dharma, artha, kam, moksha. Without the body, how can the soul evolve? How can the soul get anything auspicious? But the body cannot be protected if one doesn't have livelihood. And you will not have livelihood if you keep your promise. So you should not keep your promise. So if keeping your promise is going to result in your own body being destroyed, then better you don't keep the promise. So he starts giving him various reasons why he should not keep his promise. He quotes from a scripture, he speaks about not using home. And he tells him, finally, he makes an argument. Actually, it's quite safe to say no. You know why? Because if one says a false thing to protect oneself in a dangerous situation, that kind of falsehood is not really considered false. It's not really considered false. And then he says that he gives certain situations where it is okay to lie. So he gives 4 or 5 situations. One, in flattering a woman to bring her under control, it's okay to lie. Which means sometimes a man may just over glorify a woman, right? Oh, yes, I have never seen anybody more beautiful than you. That man is over glorifying the lady. I'm just giving an example. just to get some advantage out of her. Not actually meaning it. I have never liked any other girl than you. So that is one situation. Second, when one is joking, sometimes in joking one may speak something false. But the idea is not to cheat, it is just making fun. Third, in a marriage ceremony, I do not know what it means to lie in a marriage ceremony. There's nothing mentioned in the purport here, but it's interesting. In a marriage ceremony, one can lie. In earning one's livelihood, because some kinds of livelihood may need one to lie a bit. Definitely not in a Brahmana's occupation, but Kshatriya and Vaishya. Kshatriya has to practice diplomacy. In diplomacy, you don't always tell the full truth. And as a Vaishya, also you don't tell the truth. You just tell, the shopkeeper will tell the customer, oh, I'm not making any profit for you. I'm just giving it to you at cost price. But everybody is making a profit. So there are some white lies of diplomacy, white lies of commerce, which are considered acceptable. Also, it is okay to lie if one's own life is in danger, or one is needed to protect the lives of cows and brahmanas, or in protecting someone who is in the under the custody of the enemies. In all these situations, if one has to lie to deal with that situation, it is not condemned. So why it is not condemned? Because in these situations, either it is not a big deal, or uh, if we compare the lying and the not lying scenarios, one can, in the principles of dharma, see that in those situations, it is better to risk lying rather than allow that other situation to happen. So, Shukracharya is trying very, very hard. Bali Maharaj is just about to take the vow and is trying very, very hard to convince him. So, Prabhupada very interestingly comments on this behavior of Shukracharya. So, this is not how a devotee Brahman should be. What is actually the duty of a spiritual master? The duty of a spiritual master is to encourage his disciple to take shelter of Vishnu, to offer everything to Vishnu. But here, when Bali Maharaj wants to and has the opportunity to offer everything to Vishnu, Shukracharya is telling, hold back, hold back, hold back. And why is he telling hold back? So Shukracharya is more concerned about how it impacts his own welfare. He is finding Shastra quotes not to help Bali Maharaj advance, but what will suit his economics. So we have to be also very careful as sadhakas, as practitioners of spiritual life, that we do not develop this Shukracharya kind of mentality. Outwardly, we will make show of religion. Outwardly, we'll argue based on scripture, but internally, we are not serving the interest of the Lord. We may be quoting scripture, we may be arguing, we may be using authority, we may be saying so many things. But ultimately, the bottom line is we are trying to serve our own interest. So we do not want to be of the Shukracharya camp. We want to be of the Bali Maharaj camp. We want to be a devotee of Bali Maharaj camp. We don't want a guru of the Shukracharya camp. Who is the guru of the Shukracharya camp? Is that guru more than the interest of the disciple to advance in Krishna consciousness and take shelter of Krishna, wants to use his disciple to get help from him, but is not really interested in the spiritual welfare and is not willing to guide the disciple properly, especially if that guidance is going to impede in the personal benefit of the Guru. Bali Maharaj was spiritually advanced enough to understand the game. And that is why in the next chapter, we have already concluded this chapter. The next chapter, he gives very interesting response to this submission by Shukracharya. Of course, Shukracharya is still not happy. Shukracharya knows what is about to happen. Excuse me. And Vaman Dev is very pleased that even after openly knowing what Shukracharya had told Bali Maharaj still did not back out. That made Bali Maharaj so much more glorious in the eyes of Lord Vaman. That's why Bali Maharaj is considered the epitome of Sharanagati. It's not that he had no idea, he gave word and everything was taken away. Lord taking away something from someone, when every person dies, everything is taken away from him. Is everyone considered a Sharanagat Bhakta? To give willfully to the Lord at the cost of affecting one's own interest, that is the symptom of love. Rup Goswami wonderfully defines love as Atmendriya Pritivancha Tarbale Kam Krishnendriya Pritivancha Dhare Prem Nam. If one's desire is to enjoy one's own senses, that is called lust. And if one's motivation is to give pleasure to the senses of Krishna, that is known as love. The Guru Shukracharya here was interested in his welfare, not in his disciples' spiritual welfare. So that was demoniac advice, even though it was shastrically based. So Shastras can be used in ways to make it appear. So one has to know the relative position of various instructions of the Shastras to avoid being cheated into following the path of darkness rather than following the path of Krishna consciousness. And Bali Maharaj, because of the blessings of Prahlad, was very alert in this regard. So that's a very, very important lesson. So I'm going to stop here. Any questions, comments we can take for a while. We've completed chapter 19. So if no questions, thank you so much. So this is a very, very beautiful pastime. A lot of instructive lessons in the character of Prahlad. In the character of Bali Maharaj, and a lot of instructive lessons in the character of Shukracharya also. Sometimes in life, we don't always meet good examples. Sometimes we meet bad examples also. So a devotee is very careful to, in both situations, learn the right lessons. As well as Radhanath Maharaj often tells, when somebody behaves wonderfully, I learn from them how to behave. When somebody behaves wrongly, I learn from them how not to behave. So everybody is my guru. So that's how a sadhaka gives up dosha buddhi. Hate the disease, not the diseased. Don't hate the patient, hate the disease. So one understands, oh, I should not become like that. That's the lesson. One doesn't have to judge that. What that person is, what is his background, what is his condition, what are his circumstances. That's between him and Krishna. But at least we can. Yeah. Tarun Prabhu, you want to say something?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandatam. Prabhuji, I have a very basic question. And this question is in context of Bhoga Prasadam. So in Bhoga Prasadam, we say Tar Madhya Jivati Lobh Mohisadaramati. And Prabhuji, at the same time, if you go to ISKCON, the Prasadam is every time is so tasty that you need more all the time. So हमेशा हम टंग का कंट्रोल कैसे कर प्रभु? It becomes so tasty that you need more again and again. So I am basically asking this Prabhu over the Kartik month. I got the opportunity to go to various programs,
Hmm.
and every time uh, a lot of dishes, very sweet dishes. तो अब घर का खाना अच्छा नहीं लगता. एंड यू नीड मोर अबाउट कि उसमें स्वीट्स होंगे, हलवा होगा, ये होगा, वो होगा. तो फिर टंग का कंट्रोल तो नहीं हुआ ना प्रभु. टंग तो फिर इज बेसिकली
So there
गेटिंग
are two
एंगेज्ड मोर.
steps. There are two steps to tongue control. Of course, tongue control also has two aspects. One is with respect to prasad, other is with respect to controlling what we speak. But let's
Okay.
focus on the prasad part only. So there are two parts. Stage one, this is how Prabhupada implemented control of the tongue. Stage one is eat only prasad rather than eating whatever other things we are eating. Eat only prasad. Even if you eat a lot of prasad, it's okay, but at least you are not eating other things. So sometimes Prabhupada would say, eat up to your neck. Eat them. What is the idea of eating up to the neck? That you eat so much that you don't go and eat any other nonsense then. At least you satisfy your tongue with prasad rather than eating other things. That's the idea. So that's an improvement over eating nonsense, right? Huh? But that's okay at a beginning level. One cannot follow the same principle that one followed in class 1 also when one is in class 10. So eventually one has to come. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagra. Atyahara is not good for bhakti. Atyahara means eating more than necessary. So as one starts making tangible advancement, then one starts gradually making a conscious endeavor of regulating eating of prasad, especially for the pleasure of the tongue. So slowly, slowly one has to work towards that.
बट प्रभु सॉरी टू कट यू प्रभु जी, बट वहां पे जब वो दे रहे होते हैं कि नहीं प्रसाद और लीजिए मीन्स. एंड इफ यू
तो
से सिंपली नो, देन कहते हैं नहीं अपराध है, नहीं खाना ही पड़ेगा.
नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं है कि अपराध है. I mean, you can always control the portion that you are eating. That's okay. Devotees will always be enthused. When we are serving, it is our duty to serve with enthusiasm. When we are on the receiving side, it is our duty to restrict what we are receiving to what we need. Correct? So the same situation Vaman Dev was, right? That Bali Maharaj was wanting to give a lot. And Bali Maharaj was right in wanting to give a lot. There's no fault in that part. But on Vaman Dev's part is saying, you are nice and I appreciate your attitude, but sorry, I don't want to take more than what I need because it will spoil my spiritual life. So that is the consciousness of the devotee. Right? So even when somebody says, ये लो प्रभु इतना हलवा लो, नहीं प्रभु ये बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, थोड़ा सा बस हाँ बस और नहीं. That's okay. Devotees don't generally my experience is devotees also are considerate and they understand. So once in a while we want to have a great feast, that's okay, but slowly, slowly one has to come to the point. That's why we have this Ekadashi Upvas, we have Bhishma Panchak and all that, so that slowly, slowly we can control our senses. Because at one point, we have to come to the point of controlling senses. Because actually, we want to honor prasad. We are not trying to eat tasty food. If we are accepting prasad with the mentality that I am trying to satisfy my taste with tasty food, that's also a material mentality. The prasad is not material, but it's a material mentality because you are not honoring prasad. You are trying to taste tasty food. You understand the difference? Yeah? It's a matter of attitude.
Yes.
So, so that is not good. So even tasty prasad, one must accept a little bit and honor it. The mentality should be honoring. So the ideal consciousness for devotees when they accept prasad is even when it is tasty prasad, when one tastes it, how does a devotee think? He doesn't think, Arey kya? So, he doesn't think like that. What does the devotee think? It's not that the devotee has to say, Arey, acha nahi hai, acha nahi. Not like that also. The devotee thinks, oh, this halwa is so nice. How Krishna must have enjoyed this halwa. Oh, Krishna. Huh? এই এই শাক কৃষ্ণ আস্বাদিল. There is another Prasadam song. एक दिन शांतिपुरे प्रभु अद्वैतेर घरे we Prabhu Bhojana Bashilo. One day in Advaitacharya's home, two Prabhus, Gauranga and Nityananda, sat down to have prasad. Then what happened? हे नो शाक आश्वादने प्रभु बोले भक्तगणे हे शाक कृष्ण आश्वादिलो. When Lord Chaitanya ate the shak means the green leafy vegetable. What Lord Chaitanya said to all the devotees, this shark has been tasted personally by Krishna. The nectar of Krishna's saliva has entered this shark. That's why it's tasting so nice. So I'm enjoying tasting the remnants of Krishna. So when one honors prasad with this consciousness, Jada Buddhi Parihari Prasada Bhojana Kari, then Jada Buddhi will go away. When you simply wanting to enjoy tasty food, then one's Jada Buddhi will not go. Jada Buddhi means the mentality of trying to enjoy matter. Eating prasad in any case is better than eating not prasad. And is thousands of times better than eating sinful, forbidden things. But for our goal is not just to only eat prasad. Our mentality is to honor prasad. This has been tasted. So that's why bhakti, every aspect of bhakti is about how we approach it. So yes, once in a while you want to enjoy, it's okay. But as time goes by, and that's one of the means, one of the ways for us to understand how we are advancing. When the tongue always wants to chant Krishna Nam, discuss Krishna Katha, and it only wants to taste Krishna Prasad in a moderate quantity, that means you are becoming purified. But slowly. Prabhupada initially was very relaxed in these respects, but later when he saw his disciples becoming serious, he would say that you have to, not that always you have to fill yourself up to here. I remember when I was brahmachari, one day I took my plate, went behind the DT kitchen, and the pujari or the naivedya had been offered and the Mahaprasad was out, and the pujari, I went there and asked him, so he put some on my plate. And as I was there with the plate of prasad, just about to go, Radhanath Maharaj came there. And he came and he stood just next to me. And he looked at my face and he looked at the plate. And his eyes became very big. He looked at me again. And then he asked me, all of this is for you? All of this is... And he didn't say that, but basically he meant, ye sab tu khayega, itna sab. Basically, he was trying to tell the same thing that I am just telling you. Don't get into the mentality of enjoying prasad. Honor it. This prasad is for, the bhoga is for Krishna's enjoyment. The prasad is for our purification. And then I was, I didn't know what to say. So he saw that I was kind of not knowing what to say. And that time I was not keeping too well. And he said, okay, you're not keeping very well. It's okay. You eat. So he didn't chastise me, but he conveyed the message. So, we have to slowly come to that level. So what may be okay for a neophyte may not be okay for a intermediate devotee. Whatever may be okay for an intermediate devotee may not be okay for a advanced devotee. As we go more advanced, higher level of devotion, higher level of detachment, higher level of humility, higher level of service attitude are expected to be manifest. And it will come naturally if you follow the principles. Okay?
You know, Prabhu.
Huh? But let us not judge what others are eating. Let us look at our own plates. When we serve others, we don't say, Prabhu, don't eat too much. That is not for them, that is for you. And the problem of neophyte mentality is we impose all rules on others and we think we are very great, we don't need to follow rules. But the attitude has to be opposite. I want to serve them, let them eat so much halwa, and we should not have any dosha buddhi. Oh, why is eating so much? We should think, oh, this devotee, I made him happy. Of course, unless he's sick, then we don't want to feed him and make him more sick. But generally, I'm saying. But for oneself, one must be very strict. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, स्वामी विवेकानंद की जय. I'll see you all on Tuesday. Thank you, Sneha ji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Jai
Prabhuji.
Mata
Thank
ji,
you.
Priya ji,
Prabhuji.
Jai
Thank
Mama
you.
ji,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hari
Hare
Bol.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Tarun, Bhaskar, Hari Bol.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you, Prabhuji.
Mata ji, Anand Sundari Mata ji. Thank you, everyone. Hari Bol. So please, if you have not filled in the report for lamps, please